Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Speedify Live Office Hours. I'm Alex.
I'm
This
Mike.
is Mike. And we are here to answer all your questions. Mike is one of the developers of Speedify. What do you do, Mike?
Mostly, work on the user interface, all the Apple products. My hands in a little bit of
Nice. So, what is Office Hours? This show is for you. We're the guys who make Speedify. You have questions, ask them. Put them in the comments underneath. We will see them and we will respond. So I see a lot of you out there, and Nat and Marby and Azim. Hey, everybody. You've got questions, post them. We see what you're posting. I'm not going to say hi to everybody who posts hi, but hi. Getting a whole bunch of you. While you're at it, give us a like, a follow, smash whatever buttons are underneath there. Here's a good question for you, Mike. Where's my cursor? All right, I don't know what's going on. I lost my cursor. All right, John asks, is there any chance you can create a build of Speedify for the Apple TV? I have a Starlink setup and there's no Ethernet access, roof mounted, and I would love to use pair and share on the RV network.
Yeah, so it would be fantastic, but yeah, it's just not in a position that Apple lets us do things like channel bond on an Apple TV that
Pair and share, we ought to be able to get right. One problem, right, is that the Apple TV doesn't have a whole lot of internet connections, right? Is that,
there's internet
pair and
connections,
share,
and just the way it's structured too. So would it let us run in the background and do pair and share? It's going to do some Apple convincing on that one.
I wonder if my trackpad ran out of battery. I'll try plugging that in. See if that. Yeah, I've got a mouse.
Unlike the other
Super
mouse.
good. How it runs out of battery at the moment we go by. That's extraordinary. All right. So Danny Dodge Live asks, is there a way to add 3 sources of internet to my phone and bond them together using Speedify?
Absolutely. Our brand new feature, Pair and Share, will let you combine more than 3 sources on your phone and pair them together. Right off the bat, you get your Wi-Fi and your cellular, which is great. But if you have any other devices with cellular connections, they can all bond right to your iPhone to give you, 3, 4, 5, 6 connections, no problem.
Nice. Oh, the tribulations of wireless mice.
Well, you have the trackpad, so you could charge it and use it. The Apple mouse that I use, you have to flip it upside down, and you can't use it until it's charged. It's like a turtle on its back.
Amazing. One of the worst industrial designs in history, and they don't fix it.
Who approved that? I don't know.
All right. So our question for you guys is, when you're sharing internet from your phone to your PC, how do you do it? Do you do the Wi-Fi hotspot? Do you tether it with USB? Do you not do it? That's what I'm curious about. Do you tether your computers? USB, Ethernet, Wi-Fi? How do you do it? I am curious what people do in the real world. Meanwhile, another piece of news: we have a new video coming out on our YouTube channel right after this. So if you're on YouTube, just stick around. You'll see the video afterwards. If not, pop over to YouTube after this video and search for Speedify, and it'll be our new video. It is a video inspired by one of your questions where we talk about the pros and cons of using a Wi-Fi dongle versus USB for tethering your phone. My question isn't so random, right? You're going to get my opinion after the case. All right. Smart B uses the Wi-Fi because it feels easier. Mm-hmm. C says Ethernet and Wi-Fi. USB. Yep. All right. John says, when I'm at my workstation, I tether via USB if I'm just working on the couch over Wi-Fi. That makes a lot of sense to me. The USB is really fast and it's reliable. You plug in, it's just connected. But once you're on the go, another wire stinks. Cellular hotspot, I use it all the time in hotels. Yep. All right. So, Mike, what is Speedify? You want to talk about that for a second?
Sure. So Speedify is an app. It's available on all your mobile devices, Apple, Android, and all your PCs, Linux, Windows, Mac. But it's an app that lets you combine any number of internet connections for better performance. So At the core, we're a channel bonding VPN. So that means packet by packet, we're seeing what needs to take priority. If you have Wi-Fi and cellular, we're going to combine them to give you one ultra fast internet connection. Yeah, while maintaining your privacy and making sure every packet that goes up to the internet is safe and secure.
All right. So there's this weird article. Have you read about the bus driver shortage?
No.
And the AI solution. I don't know if somebody can pop this up here.
Sure.
So what are well, if you haven't read it, so they're talking about, they don't have enough bus drivers. So can they use AI to route the buses?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Looks good though.
The jacket is so formal, Alex. Yeah, I'm trying to class the place up. What do you mean? Right?
No,
Look at me. Makes it more obvious how this T-shirt got printed crooked, though, doesn't it?
Oh.
So I need to get a new T-shirt. Yeah, for a long time I was trying to figure out if I was crooked. No, it's actually the T-shirt. Although I may be a little bit crooked.
So they want to replace bus drivers, or they just want AI and help map new driving routes?
Yeah, so I think it's a little each, right? They're talking about using AI to find more efficient routes.
Mm-hmm.
But they're already algorithms for finding efficient routes, right? I mean, finding the perfect route, of course, is an NP complete problem.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as we know, is unsolvable. But they're already algorithms for finding bus routes that are within 1% of perfectly efficient polynomial time. So I don't really see what AI has to do with it. I think that everybody's just labeling whatever they do as AI these days.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you asked me last year, I'd be like, "Oh, AI." No, I mean,
Speedify, the AI VPN.
We could do that. No, but keep the drivers in place. Review your route manually.
All right. Angel asks, what is the best configuration of server in Speedify app? I am from Spain. Should I choose a server in Spain? Yes. Thanks. Yeah, the quick answer is if you're just trying to use the internet, usually pick use the closest, fastest, whatever it says in the UI. It'll pick one that's close to you. It does a little testing to make sure it's actually fast before it connects, and that is your best bet. There are exceptions, of course, if you're trying to reach content in another country, or if you're only trying to use services from another country, not just to trick anybody, but you may want a server close to the services you use. So, a fine example, and this is better now, but for a long time, if you were streaming live in Twitch, all of your packets were sent to Seattle. So for Twitch streamers, picking a speed server in Seattle was the best choice because that's where all of your packets were going once you were live. And sort of special exception. Now I think Twitch has more servers and more locations, but for a long time, that was the only place they had. Speaking of Seattle, who's new in Speedify? Speedify team has a new addition. And you saw with our previous new member of the team, Brian, we got up, we got above 10% staff named Brian. But we've clearly had a problem in that, we've only had one Michael. Well, we have fixed this problem by bringing on another Michael. Woo! So bring him on. Well, I'll talk about who he is. There he is.
Hello.
It's Michael Suttles, our new Vice President of Business Development. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great.
So you're joining us from Ookla, right? Speedtest.net.
Correct.
So what you do over there? Just at a high level.
High level. I spent many years integrating the speed test client into customer premise equipment like Netgear routers and Asus and TP-Link, and also oversaw plenty of the sales and support organization for many years.
Nice. I have a Netgear router and it has a speed test in it. So that's you? You did
Yep.
that?
I might be guilty of it.
Nice, nice. So Michael's based in Seattle, where a speed test is, right? So,
Yep, they're right downtown.
all right. So for most people, you're going to be sort of in the background, but what are you going to be doing here? Like, who's going to end up talking to you?
I mean, hopefully everyone. I mean, I'm going to be engaging with OEMs, dual WAN gateway device manufacturers, operators, pretty much anything that could depend on the tech from parent share or a multi-channel VPN.
Nice. Yeah. So we're really excited. Somebody's asking about product roadmap. I will say there's a lot of stuff about getting Speedify on routers on the product roadmap. That's a lot of what we're working on. What you're working on, it's what a lot of the engineers are working on here. So I expect to have some, much more exciting things to share in the very near future. I think they're going to be routers shipping this summer is the plan.
That's right.
That should be really cool. Ebulant says early start for Seattle. Yeah. So what time is it? At 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's 7:15. Yeah,
Not that terrible.
and clearly the sun is out.
All right. Shishong says, yes, I want it on a router. I would buy 1 or 6 for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Speedify, you can do such cool things once you have it on routers. And once you can have the router with parent share, so you can set your cell phone that, if your home internet goes out, you can temporarily use your cell phone. Another thing that we got working is being able to USB tether phones on the router, right? If the internet sticks, you can take your phone, USB tether it. A lot of neat things you can do once you have Speedify on a router. So, anything you're really excited about here? What are you most excited about?
Putting Speedify on routers.
All right. All right. Any parting thoughts before I let you get back to it?
No, I'm just really excited to be here and looking forward to the adventure ahead.
All right. It's good to have you on board.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael.
Cheers.
Yeah. Back to Michael.
Magic.
This is great.
Mike and Mike.
I can just call everyone, Michael or Brian. I'm good. All right. Can I use a second computer with Speedify and internet connection and share this computer with my encoder?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, whether you have whatever kind of, if you have a Windows PC or an Apple Mac, especially with parent share, of course, you can share connections. If you have a Raspberry Pi, that works really well too.
Well, so remember, he's trying. The encoder might not have a whole lot of brains on it. So the best solution is something like a Raspberry Pi, a Linux computer. We have clear instructions on the support site on how to have it share over Ethernet, how to have it share over Wi-Fi. There are nice scripts that come with it. On the PC, there is Connectify Hotspot software. Lets you turn the PC into a router that knows how to share the bonded Speedify connection. Is there actually a solution on a Mac? Didn't really say what kind of computer he has.
No. So I didn't know whether it was a coding computer was Mac or something like that. But yeah, be a little tougher with Mac. I don't think there's an actual solution that Apple provides us.
All right. I have it now on a router, but it does glitch. So yeah, I'd say most of you eCam users, don't forget camp's coming up. Buy some router. Yeah, so obviously if you're seeing glitches, tell us. We're planning another release next week. We are brutally testing the router configuration over and over, watching every packet to make sure it's right. To be honest, we found some little things. So there will be an improved version of Speedify in next week, probably 14.8. But if you're seeing weird glitches, we want to know about them. Contact support, send logs. I'm also curious what kind of router you have. Is it like a Ubuntu computer? Do you stick out an OpenWRT thing? We don't officially support OpenWRT, but I know the questions we're getting support. A whole bunch of you are running it on OpenWRT, which we don't support. We have been fixing the things that are broken as they get reported. So we support better than we did before, but it's not official yet. But contact support. If you're seeing glitchy things, you shouldn't be. It should be rock solid. Speedify and Connectify work great. Yeah, they do. So there's some internet connection sharing stuff built into Windows. Does not work well. I mean, if it worked well, we wouldn't have made Connectify hotspot. It sort of barely works. That includes the mobile hotspot built into Windows, right? If your laptop goes to sleep, it stops. When it wakes up, it doesn't start again. And sometimes it picks IP addresses that other computers on the network are already using. It just doesn't work, and it doesn't tell you why. You have to poke around for a while with something like Wireshark to realize that it picked the wrong IP address, and you have no control over what IP address it picks. There is some free internet sharing stuff built into Windows, and it's darn close to unusable. All right, is it best to have two networks set as primary, or one as primary and one as secondary? Automatic. So the priority is about cost, right? So primary means use it all the time. Secondary means it's a little more expensive. You can use it for a speed boost. You can use it if the primary goes out. And backup means it's really expensive. Only use it if it's an emergency. So if you have one primary and one secondary, it's cheapest pipe first. We try to fill the primary first. And only when we think we've maxed out that internet connection do we kick in the secondary and start giving it traffic, give you that speed boost. If you set both as primary, then Speedify will go ahead and just use both as much as it wants if it thinks it would help performance. So if all you care about is performance, then generally primary, usually the fastest. But if it's a mix, if you only have 20 gigs a month of cellular, which a long time ago would have seemed like a lot, but these days if you're doing video and stuff, it might not be. See, make it secondary. If the Wi-Fi is good enough, just use the Wi-Fi. So that's really what it depends on. I mean, if you really need to send a lot of stuff, even in secondary, it'll end up using both. All right. Test asks, with Speedify individuals plan, can I use two Speedify installations from two different devices simultaneously?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use up to 5 devices simultaneously. Great deal.
And if you need more, an even better deal is for 1.5 times the cost. You can get a family plan. Gets you 5 users, each with 5 devices. That is pretty fantastic. Coyote Express is using it with Starlink.
Nice.
Yeah, some of our performance tuning, to be honest, we're obsessing with the router connected to the Starlink. And that is some of the spots where we're finding spots where we could do better. Sounds like you might benefit from next week's release. I mean, obviously it's good now, but Starlink is kind of weird. Chris Carson asks, what scenarios, if any, would you want secondary plus secondary? Secondary plus secondary is basically exactly the same as primary plus primary. The scenario where you do secondary plus secondary that pops to mind is with pair and share, we don't let you make the paired connection primary because we know it's a cellular and it's a cellular that you have to go across the Wi-Fi to get to. So we only let you choose between secondary and backup for those connections. You really, for some reason, say, no, you're wrong, Alex. I should be using the pair and share connection all the time. I know what I'm doing. Move all your primaries down to secondary. Make them all secondary. Boom, now the pair and share connections are being used all the time. So that's why you do it. Yeah. Can I walk you through the process of using parent share? Should be able to. Let's see. Boop. All right. So this is Speedify on this Mac. Right now it has 3 internet connections. It has an Ethernet going to my Comcast cable modem. It has Wi-Fi going to the same Comcast cable modem. So it's not doing a whole lot for me. You know, if somebody kicks the Ethernet cable out, then I'll instantly fail over Wi-Fi. But in general, if Comcast goes out, both those connections are going out at the same time. And then I have this tethered iPhone. Well, let's forget the tether. So I pull it, it disappears. So I run Speedify. Find it. On this iPhone. And oh, look, discovered devices. So you see a bunch of devices running Speedify on this network, including Alex's iPhone. So I click it. Yes. Send the request to pair. On this iPhone, I instantly get a parent share with Speedify's Mac Mini. I say, yes, pair. Success. And now, back on the Mac, you see receiving from Alex's iPhone. I return to the dashboard. And there, look at that. Alex's iPhone, cellular, AT&T, my extra internet connection. You know, now that I've done that, I can go back and Kane's phone. Like right here. Ooh.
Oh, I can't. Sorry.
Send request.
There.
Somebody else who didn't name their phones, just iPhone. I have no idea who I'm pairing with here. But there we go. So I added Kane. It's not working yet. Trying to get there.
Should kick in, yeah.
Should kick in. It's negotiating. It's cool. All right. So that is how easy parent share is. Click, 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 click. Get on the same Wi-Fi. Be running Speedify on old devices, and then undiscovered, they just show up and you click on them. All right. I have a Starlink cell backup. Yep. My audio keeps going out. Are other people hearing my audio go out?
Is it that glitch where you change screens and you have to wait 10 seconds?
Oh, God. It is. It's a restream bug. All right. Nothing to do with my internet. There is a bug in restream, and we have complained bitterly. They act really surprised. All right. Can you elaborate a bit more on the use of primary versus primary secondary in relation to bandwidth performance if one of the connections is slow? So if one of the connections is really slow, somewhere I have a chart. If one connection is 5 times faster than the other, then the other is not adding anything. You really, and so if you know for a fact that one of your connections is really slow, it may make sense to even push it all the way down to backup, right? Because, you know, if you take, you know, a 500 megabit internet connection, add a 1 megabit connection, 1 megabit never helps. So in that case, you may want to push that other connection down, even though it's cheap, down to secondary or even backup. So it's there if something happens. If your 500 megabit internet connection goes out, you're still online. Speedify will instantly fail you over to the one. But yeah, it can be totally legitimate to say, I know this isn't going to help. Why don't I spare Speedify from even trying it? Yeah, at one point we had more features to even let you dial in if you knew the exact speed of your internet connection, you could dial it in to save Speedify from having to discover it. But it turns out people are just dialing in the wrong number. So it turned out to be better to just figure out ourselves. All right, colors. All right, so Mike, what's coming in 14.8?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I know you guys have asked countless times that if you could just have consistent colors on the graph, consistent colors with your adapters, we added that. So now when your adapter gets assigned a color, it will stay consistent throughout its lifetime unless you uninstall. But we also added, I think 8 or 10 more colors that look absolutely fantastic. Our designers did a great job. So you're going to have even more colors and you could pick. So if you have, if you want to see your cellular always have X color, you could assign it, and your dashboard now you can pretty it up a little bit.
Yeah, I like the new colors. I guess we can't
me
show them here, but it's apricot and orchard. They're really attractive colors. I think a tiny bit darker than the colors we have now, but it's all under your control. You can pick a whole palette of colors. So that's coming next week. So you get the color picking and improved performance on sort of routers and Starlinks. Pretty cool.
And one of the things I don't know if we touched on from last release was the new shared graph got a big overhaul. Looks fantastic if you guys are using pair and share.
Yeah. Yes, the graphs have. If you haven't paid attention to the graphs, they've improved a little bit. Alex's voice too deep. No, I'm just that manly. I don't know what you're trying to do. Where can we make feature requests? Also, can we pay to bump feature requests up from the priority list? You can make feature requests here.
Sure.
You can make feature requests by emailing support@speedify.com. I'll be totally honest. For very large amounts of money, we could be convinced to move features up, but we're not talking tens of dollars or hundreds of dollars. So just make your request, and if it's a good idea, you're probably not the first person to ask for it, and prioritize things. Based on what people ask for. We're here for you. All right, we are at 10:30. Is there anything we didn't talk about? We're going to be live again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. The current version of Speedify is 14.7 point something. I actually think it's different on the Mac and Android. So update if you haven't. We keep improving things. There's going to be another release next week. And we've really been working on this you asked video series. You guys keep asking questions. You ask them here and under our other videos and on support. And so I've been taking time to do little videos answering questions we hear multiple times, questions that we've never heard before. So one of them is going live right after this on our YouTube channel, talking about USB and Wi-Fi tethering. Coyote, I ask you about public IP. That's a good question. Just rolling back, looking for. I guess I missed a question.
Right there.
Here we go. How about a public IP so you can connect to your OBS from outside on a GNAT provider? So we have that now as a features of the dedicated server. Like $120 a month, $900 a year. We will dedicate a server to you. It will have the same IP address all year. You can have port forwarding. So you can set certain ports. You can say, if somebody connects to port 9000 on my server, send it all the way down through to OBS running on my PC. And so now your OBS has a public internet connection through Speedify that's coming across the bonded connection. So dedicated servers. They're kind of professional priced, but they're really cool. Boop, boop, boop. All right. So I'm hearing I skipped one at tests questions. Can I elaborate? Here we go. Do you have any recommendations for a hardware adapter that takes 4G, 5G SIM and converts it to USB-C for connecting to a phone, so I would have one more additional network source to share bandwidth? I don't. I know they exist. I have seen people pull just last week a 5G USB card out of their pocket and stick it into a computer running Speedify, and it just worked. So I have not done any comparison. And what the phones, you're talking about USB to a phone. I haven't done that testing. There's a bunch plugging into router type devices, plugging into PCs and stuff. We've done a bunch. I don't think I've ever taken a 5G USB dongle and plugged it into a phone. I'd love to hear how it goes. If you have recommendations, please share them. That sounds interesting. All right. All right. Feature request for video streaming. It would be ideal to have video encoder that is aware of existing network bandwidth and adjust the video stream bitrate accordingly. Yes. Yes, it would be. So one thing we could do there, but we need one of the, we're not making a video encoder, right? We could probably have a service where Speedify was running on your router or whatever, that it told the video encoders what level of quality it thought it could get away with, to let the video encoder dynamically adjust to it. But we would need a partnership. There isn't really a standard for that. Maybe we'll ask Michael Settles to look into that. Because we could just be telling the video encoder, yeah, you're not going to get higher than 15 megabits here, and they could adjust the stream rather than do the frustrating thing. Try to send 20 for a few seconds, drop all the way down to 5. Because we have the stats and we could share it with the encoder, but right now none of these encoders, there's no standard way to tell them. Yeah. Actually, I've long wondered why this doesn't exist. Why just routers, when you connect to a router, it doesn't tell your computer, hey, I think I'm 100 megabit internet connection. They just don't. Not part of the standard. All right. Okay, parked so I can type better.
Don't drive and type.
Yeah, please don't drive and type. All right. It's currently only available on enterprise solutions, which cost a fortune. There are no existing apps for this. Yeah.
Into one of those feature requests where money comes in. Crowdfund.
So many router companies have different QoS engines. They aren't always enabled by default either. Yeah, sorry. And we're adding another QoS engine on top of it. Because none of the existing ones have any idea about doing stuff with bonding and stuff. Also, the other thing is most of them do it by looking at port numbers and stuff. And these days, so many things are encrypted and run over the HTTPS ports that they get through firewalls. In fact, they don't work. So we have to look at traffic shapes to recognize the traffic. Right? Voice calls, 30 packets per second, very, very recognizable. But not by port number or whatever, because everything disguises itself as a web browser, because web browsing is the only thing that works reliably these days. Coyote Express. Starlink is always a bit in and out. I got a 4G line as backup. What do you suggest as settings for the two lines? I like, depends how much cellular you have. Secondary is pretty good, right? As long as, if the Wi-Fi is going faster than 30 megabits, which is Starlink, it'll just use that. But if it dips below, then it'll start using some cellular. We should make the threshold adjustable. But if you're really afraid of it using too much cellular, you can bounce down to backup. Trouble is, Starlink doesn't always disconnect, right? Sometimes it's 1 megabit. You spend a couple minutes at 1 megabit, and it's actually worse than it disconnecting because everything's spinning, still trying and hoping to get through. Yeah. Might be outside Speedify's domain, right? Yeah, so I feel like it's not outside Speedify's domain to tell an encoder, this is what I think you could do. But then, The encoder has to do something with it, and that is outside her domain. All right. Very good. Yeah, so we've been on here for 35 minutes now, so I think we're going to call it a day. If I missed any questions, you can post them underneath. We'll get to them next time. I might make one of those little videos. Check out our YouTube after this. We're going to have a video about the USB tethering. Stick around if you're on YouTube. If not, shoot over to YouTube, search for Speedify after this. It's another video inspired by your questions. Otherwise, we will see you next Wednesday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern. That's about it. Anything to add, Mike?
No, thanks for having me today.
All right. And thank you to Michael for joining us. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. And I'll see you all online.